I'm Larry Ulibarri. This is Kathie J.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I've been better.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Okay, so here's the deal.
Okay.
Um, a couple weeks ago, I was eating ground turkey, and there was a bone in it, a piece of bone.
Okay. In the
And
ground turkey.
correct. And I'm a
Okay.
pretty aggressive chewer. So I
Like
end up
you can chew ice. Like let's tell everybody what that means. Like you
right.
on a normal chew ice.
Yeah, I know, but I mean that's store bought ice. It's easy to chew. But
Oh my God.
the thing is, I bit down on this what was like a rock, and it really hurt my tooth. I was like in so much pain for the rest of that day. I was like, I've never had, a pain in my tooth like this. So then over the next couple days, the pain went away, but I could feel with my tongue that it was rough. So I feel like I cracked my tooth. So day before yesterday, I went to the dentist, and she's like, "Oh, she's like, yeah, we're gonna have to pull that because you cracked it all the way to the root." And
Ah.
I've had my wisdom teeth taken out, but I've never really had a tooth problem or anything like that per se. So anyway, long story short,
Whoa.
I'm a
Whoa.
hillbilly. Hey, everybody! I'm up in Crickle Creek. Yeah, so that's what I look like right now.
She sends me if I spring
Well,
the leak. She mends me. Wow, look at that hillbilly.
I know.
Oh my
And so
God,
here's the thing. To be honest, you can't really tell when I'm talking. Like you can't
no,
really
at
see
all.
it
Never
until
in
I
a million years
laugh.
did I think you were about to show that. Like, even when you laugh, that is so freaky. It is
I
like,
know.
I had
It's like
no
your
idea.
daughters.
It was like, bam, right in the front.
Right, and Gianna's just losing her teeth, so it's like now her and I have something in common.
You do. So, yeah, my youngest, the 8-year-old, we were hoping that they would have lost on their own before her orthodontist appointment, but they didn't. So they had to get surgically removed. This
Oh,
one and the one back here. But the one back here cracked into two like yours. But
oh,
hers is from hers is from something on the inside. Yours is from something on the outside. I can't believe that. And you get
I
the
know.
best ground turkey. I can't
Oh,
believe.
I know. Should I sue them?
Yes, can
Here's
you?
the thing. So I wasn't really prepared for that. I thought they were going to just be able to patch the tooth, the old tooth.
You were prepared for a
I
hole
was
in the
not
front
prepared.
of you?
So then she's like, "Okay, so you won't get your fake tooth, the one that you like put it like you kind of like as a fake one. I don't get that for 2 weeks." And then after I get the fake one, I have to wait like a couple months for the bone stuff to work out up here so they can drill in it. So I have to wear that fake one for a minute, and I have to take the fake one off when I eat food. So
Oh.
it's weird. I know. I got a hole. Um,
You're going to be that person, millions of Americans who take their teeth out and put it on the nightstand and go to bed.
oh my God, shut up.
It's
Well,
happened
and the thing
already.
is, it's
With
like
a lot sooner, decades sooner than we thought, but it happened.
we did a promotion years ago at the radio station where we put bumper stickers on like as many cars, like 1,000 cars. And if you got spotted with the bumper sticker, you could win a prize, whatever.
Right.
And I remember that day because as cars were coming through, I would say every eighth car, somebody was like this or way worse. And like,
Yeah.
it's like really bad. So I've always been like, oh, I'm so lucky to have like healthy teeth and go to the dentist and da da da. But nothing can prevent like when you like chew hard on something.
And
Yeah, it was
and it
brutal.
just cracks. If it gets you in the right spot, it just takes right to the core. I can't believe that that's you. You
I
of
know.
all people.
I know. But I mean, like, I've talked to a couple of people because my husband, he has a front tooth that's fake. And then a friend of ours, Lisa, she has a fake one. So I'm in good company. I don't really feel ashamed. It's not from meth use or eating
Right.
a lot of
Or,
candy or
Fight
something like
Club.
that.
Fight Club.
Right. That would have been cool. You should
You
see
could
the
tell
other
me.
guy.
Yeah, that's what you need to say.
Um,
Wow.
all right.
So,
So,
but
yeah.
I'm very proud. I mean, that's crazy, and I'm glad that it's getting. But you know what? There's a reason why dental. I mean, it's hard because when we used to do the Christmas wish, like the
Oh,
best Christmas
yeah.
wishes we had was always the ones at the end where the people needed teeth because your smile is the first thing that greets
It's
people. It's like
everything.
it's your
It's everything.
self-esteem and people lost their teeth for everything from domestic abuse to, bad eating when they were a kid, not being able to see the dentist. So there's so many reasons why we lose our teeth. So we don't mean to make fun, but
Oh
I
no.
mean, for Larry Uliberry to have a tooth missing in the front, let me enjoy this, everybody.
Okay. What's funny is growing up, this happened to my dad, the
Yeah.
same tooth. And I guess back then when they put in the fake, they kind of try to glue it in or something. So he was
Okay.
eating an apple and his tooth came out in the apple, and we were just laughing so hard about his tooth being gone. And now here I am.
Look at that. Your
Um,
dad's having the last laugh. Oh, that's awesome. So
anyway,
Gianna's though, hopefully hers are just going to grow in, and we have
right.
issues. Like we just needed to
Well,
remove the car crash so the traffic can keep flowing.
can I just say that the worst part of the whole thing is when they put the needle in the roof of your mouth, when they start to put those needles in to kill, and you're
Yeah.
like, can you put something before the needle? It's like that. It was brutal. And I'm pretty tolerant of pain. And so like they did a deep cleaning and that can be pretty intense. And I
Yes.
was like, yeah, I don't need any, they just put some gel on there and that was good. But soon I'll have a tooth and you won't even be able to tell. So there you go. I'll have a fake tooth.
I feel like some of your characters are being wasted right now. Can you give us something to
Hey,
go
it's
with the tooth?
Grandpa. Hey, Kathy, it's Grandpa. Hey, I
There.
just want you to lick my bloody hole. I got a tooth
Thank
hole.
you.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was I recently wrote an article on IMFROMDENVER.com about my first train ride. It's a train ride from DIA to Central Park. And
Yeah.
Chris has ridden it a couple times because he's my husband's a flight attendant for United. And so sometimes he's taken the light rail just here and there and parked down in Central Park.
Yeah.
So I had never taken it. And so I was pretty excited, like, oh, okay, I get to take the light rail and see what it's like. And I was really excited because I was like, ooh, this is like how people come to Denver and they've never been here before. So they're going to get on this train. And I was like, they'll see the mountains and it's going to be cool. And so then all of a sudden the train ride starts and you kind of get off of airplane property. And then you start going under like, tunnels and bridges and stuff. And like you start to see all this crazy, like, oh, okay, that's a homeless encampment. And then you go and you're like, ooh, that's a lot of graffiti. And then you'll go to the next thing and you're like, are those people fighting? And then you go to the next one and it's like, I kind of exaggerated in the article, but like I said that I had seen a homeless fight club. I'd seen discount strippers jumping on stain mattresses. I saw a toddler holding up a food truck, and there was a couple other things that I saw, and I was just kind of like making like I would on the air, just being
Right,
funny.
right. Drastic.
And
You throw in some truth, and then you have some ones that are far fetched.
sure, exactly. And so, and it was an opinion piece, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
real news. And so,
People took it
like
as real
someone,
news.
oh, people, I was starting to read the comments and people were like, oh, this is what you get for voting Democrat. And like, the city is a mess. And it was
my
like a ton
gosh.
of that. And then
They
it was
took it
like, it was
political.
also, right, no. And then it was like, a lot of people started sharing things that they had seen on the train. And like, it was just like, definitely not alone. But
Right.
it was just like the article is still on IMFromDenver.com and it's under trending. But like, yeah, it was just funny because, I was actually going to write a 2-part opinion piece on
Right.
how much trash there is on the freeways. You know how I've always said that.
Yeah, yeah.
How like compared to other cities, big boy cities, we have pretty crappy on ramps and off ramps, trash everywhere. So that morning, Chris and I, that I wrote the article, I go, I want to get some pictures of the trash around the city, on the
Right.
on ramps, off ramps. So I did, and we drove around, and everything was cleaned. There was no shopping carts. There was no trash. We went from all the length of I-70. And I literally think that they've heard my concerns and they knew I was going to give them
Definitely.
crap. And they cleaned that whole aspect
Definitely.
up so much so that I couldn't even mention it in the article. So I had to focus on my train ride. But I stand by my experience of the light rail. And if I'm being honest, you and I have been to the Universal Studios Harry Potter Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
And that train, they just put like these amazing high screen def TVs as the windows, and then
So
as the
cool.
train
So
goes,
you
you're like,
right. So you can see. Oh my God, it's the hillside, and then you see Hogwarts
mhm.
off in the distance, and then at one point the Dementors can show up. You can put any image you want on those screens in the windows.
Right. And so yeah, we could have put like just beautiful Denver, like it's like pristine and just
Yeah.
like yeah, but unfortunately that's just not the way it is.
No. We could have. This is how we hope Denver would.
I look like I should be on that side of the train going, I'm gonna get you. Hey, look at that little kid holding up the food truck.
Oh my God! I can tell you right now, you're not getting to see your seat's going to be in the back near the bathrooms if you try to go eat somewhere.
Well, I said that I saw a guy on the train playing craps, and I'm not talking about the dice game.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I read that. I was like, here he goes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Speaking of,
it is an experience. I highly recommend it. It's way more intense than any haunted house that we have in town, and it's only $10. So
nope, I don't
if you
need it.
haven't done it
I
yet,
don't need
do
that
it.
in my life. I don't need that in my life. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry.
Of
But
course.
you also wrote, I'm from Denver. You also wrote about restaurants that are in town and chains that people want to come to Denver.
Right, we did a list of chains that aren't here that people brag about, and we're natives for the most
Yeah,
part, and so
yeah,
we've always had King Super, Safeway, Albertsons, but other people have Publix and a place called Aldi's, and
right. And
so those are
right.
two of the places. And I think we could use a fresher up in the grocery store area, give King Supers a little, make them not so comfortable because
Oh
you know what I
yes,
mean? It's
take
like
that, City Market.
exactly, but I mean, Publix is. I've been to other states, and Publix is always nice. But I've been to other cities where the grocery stores are really nice.
What are
Like,
you saying? Like, I mean, our grocery stores are fine. I mean, I don't
I,
understand why we have to trade. Bringing in a new chain of something I get. Like you had said, White Castle.
yeah.
I get that. Bring in a chain. In and Out is here now. I like that. But I don't understand why you would want to bring in a whole grocery store chain. How different can they be?
Can
It
I
all
just say?
depends on, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say this. Like, I think that King Supers just kind of like does their thing a certain way. But when I go on vacation and I go to even to places like New Orleans and stuff, and I'll go into their grocery store, and you're like, wow, this is really nice and very modern and updated. And
At the
I don't
Publix.
think at the Publix.
Okay,
And
so are you
so
saying they
anyway,
have skylights? Are you saying that? I mean, what
I,
makes a
I
grocery store
it,
modern? Because ours are
it
modern,
just
like the King Super stores. They have furniture in them. They have clothes. They have
I know it's just more of an aesthetic, and it's kind of like I would say the regular grocery stores are like Whole Foods. When you're in Whole Foods, you're like, "Ooh, this
yeah.
is
Okay,
fancy,"
there is a
and so I
different
just kind of
feeling.
feel that way.
Okay, thank
But
you.
they're
Okay, I
like
needed to
the
hear.
other thing is Whataburger. They're here in Colorado, but they're not in Denver. Every time they announce 3 new Whataburgers, they're in Pueblo, the Springs, and somewhere else, not Denver. So a lot of people wanting Whataburger here.
Like
A lot of
Larry,
Yeah, I mean, it's probably
he's one
good
of
that it's
them.
not here because I'd be
Yeah.
fatter. By the way, I haven't eaten any food in 3 days. I'm not allowed to eat food, because of my hole.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Is that
so
what they
I
told you? You could probably be able to eat something.
no, like I've only been like doing like slim fast drinks,
Okay.
because you're not supposed to get any food particles in there. So I can't even. She goes, you can have ice cream, but don't have cookies and cream. You can only have like vanilla.
Right. Got
And
you.
so
Well,
I
look at
thought
you,
like, oh, I'm
Twiggy.
on an ice cream diet.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm on an ice cream diet. So I went and ate one shake from Sonic, and I was like, this is too much. So I really haven't been ice creaming out, but I haven't eaten in a couple of days. So it's a really good start to my getting a few pounds off the
You
journey.
always like a jump start of your journey, and if this is the whatever helps you, but I mean, but yeah, like how funny! I
Sure.
didn't even think
I
because
know it was like a forced cleansing.
yeah, well, with her 2 teeth, I mean, I've still been shoving sherbet down her, and she had soup, and she had mashed potatoes, and she had blueberries. Like there's still soft food you can eat. So I'm sorry that you've been,
No, no,
but
no, for sure. But she just said for the first 3 days, nothing warm,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it had to be cold or room temperature. So I was like, who eats room temperature soup or mashed potatoes? It's like the only thing is the slush. I mean, the drink. But
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Whatever,
I'm sure I'm
whatever.
going to live. I think my body has plenty of fat storage. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk to you before we go is road rage. So
Here we
apparently
go.
we're number 5. We're
We are
number
the
5 in the
wrong
country
people to
for
be
road rage.
talking. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say that again.
No. You're the wrong person to be talking
You're the wrong
because
person.
Kathie, back in the day, before she was a mother, she would follow people to have a confrontation. And honestly, I feel like back then you could almost still live and do that. But I think now there's too many people with guns and they will chase you and shoot at you. And it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, because back in the day, I preferred chasing you and put 'em up, put 'em up. Remember that
Yeah,
one
there's,
lady? We went
oh,
to
yeah.
put 'em up, and she was like, "Are you Kathie J?" And I was like, "Yes, I'll
You're all,
talk about this
yeah, I
tomorrow
am,
morning."
bitch.
I did.
Well, and then
I was
you,
like, I put my earrings back on. I was like, "Talk to you tomorrow. You'll hear about it in the morning when I tell Larry and Kendall."
there was also you had a confrontation with a person that you got in road rage with, and she didn't hear you honk. Turns out she was
Yep.
deaf,
No, she
and you
was.
wanted to right. But that's the
Remember?
old
So I
Kathie.
followed her into the Home Depot and I was
Hmm.
so mad and we parked and she was like walking past me and I was like, "Excuse me, like how'd you do that? You took my spot." Remember I was yelling at her and she turned around finally. She was like,
She goes, "I'm deaf."
she
Right,
was
and
deaf.
then you're like,
I had to
"Hi."
shut up. I had to
Right,
shut up. I was like,
you're all.
shake
Can you
your
read
hand.
lips? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Uh, so
Uh,
yeah, so road rage in Denver, in Colorado. We're number 5.
it happens, and the thing is, you know, there's several versions of it where you want to like speed up and look at the person and give them a look. And I've tried to become the person that doesn't do that. So
Yeah.
now when I drive past the person that enraged me, I just keep looking forward because I don't want to be shot.
Yeah, and you
You
know
know what I
what?
mean?
You're absolutely right. And that was always my rule when I was in Florida or Texas.
Florida and Texas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in Colorado, I felt pretty safe. You know, I grew up in Thornton. You're a Westminster kid, like, and so I always felt safe wherever I am in the city. And so, to like, the problem with road rage is it's such a form of you feel disrespected when someone does something to you. And we're all pushing 2,000 tons of metal at 80 miles an hour towards each other. And all of a sudden, we feel like it's an armor that we feel is like a bully issue. And you're right. The answer is to completely ignore it and go like this, and we, for some reason, feel we need to be in each other's cars. You're not paying attention. You're not doing this. And that's a huge problem, including myself. I grew up with parents who were driving is like a badge of honor. So when you're out on the road and someone is in the left lane going slow, like for some reason we've been taught, or I was taught, you need to tell them that they're doing it wrong. And that's not,
You know
and
what?
that is not how to do it
2024,
anymore.
right? 2024 is about minding your business. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel that the old me was willing to like, oh, I'm going to catch up to that person or,
Yeah.
but the thought of somebody following you,
Yeah.
maybe even with your kids in the car because they're mad and
Yeah.
now they're like literally chasing you is terrifying. So I believe that, you can only be responsible for your actions and, you know, sometimes you just have to let it go and
And
just take a deep breath and just blow it off.
and it's easier said than done. And I know everyone, because we are all dealing with whatever stress is in our lives,
Mhm,
is now with us
mhm,
behind the wheel. And if you
mhm,
have crazy music
mhm.
going, then that's a different addition. If you have kids in the back, talk, 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 that's a different stress. Like, we all have so much stress behind the wheel. And what was crazy, Larry, is I'm glad you brought this up because I'm one of the worst when it comes to let it go. Say you can let it go. And I've gotten much better. I'm doing what you're doing. I don't look to the sides. I just let it go. Right.
Right.
And because I was a person that followed people, and all that. So like, if it was an old person, you were going for him. Let's
For
be
sure.
honest.
I mean, like, I still stand by that. If some woman cuts me off and she's like in her 80s, it's on because that's where I feel most like in my comfort zone where I could win.
Right.
So,
You're
but not an
right.
80-year-old man. I'm not willing to
No.
take that chance. Like,
Because he
but
could have a knife at the bottom of his cane.
for
But this
sure.
this was my point. When we were in Romania, your husband and I was so impressed with their traffic, and in the sense of it was truly controlled chaos. I was so shocked at how they moved like this, and people would stop, like Ubers, like the Ubers would stop right in the traffic, and people would like, I would be rushing to jump into the Uber, and it took me a couple of Ubers to realize, because your husband's so good at things and how to stay calm, and Chris was like, calm down, and and I have to be like, okay, like, nobody's freaking out that this guy just stopped in the middle of the traffic. Everyone just went around it. It was almost like everybody treated it like a Mario Kart game. Like, the obstacles come and you don't care what they are. You just move around them and keep going. It was
right. In
kind of
America, you
crazy.
get behind the person and you go,
Right, like, what are you doing? You don't have a right to
you
stop there.
idiot.
Whereas in Romania, they just kept moving. Maybe that's a European thing, and their cars were, like more sedans. They don't have the big trucks where, but it was definitely, I noticed, and that's how I've been looking at traffic lately, is these are just obstacles. And if someone is going slow in front of me, my job is to just continue moving around them. I'm not here to tell them, blah, you're going slow, because I don't know what's, and that's what I
trust
used
me.
to do. And
Listen,
so I just, yeah.
I learned my lesson with that. Like, we learn as we grow older, we learn what's BS, what we don't like, whatever. And I learned a very valuable lesson not very long ago, where a woman was parked in front of the King Supers in the yellow lines, so next to the parking spaces. So I walked in and saw her, and I was just upset about that, because it's just like, it's rules. There's right. It's like, so then I'm on the way out. And I'm
do
like,
that again. Do that again.
Am I going to say something? Am I going to say something? Yes, you're damn right. I'm going to say something. So I drive, right, and I'm like passing her, and I go, that's not a parking space. And she goes, I'm waiting for someone who works here. I was like, that still doesn't make it a parking space. And then I went to go drive off to be dramatic, and I almost hit a woman in her car. And then I was like, ah! And she goes, why don't you pay attention to what you're doing? And I was like, okay. Total cringe moment. I've never done it since. I'm tired of trying to be I'm going to stick up for this, or I'm going to say this. Like, I went years on video gaming, and somebody said the N-word, and I was like, you're not supposed to say that. And all the black people in the room are like, what? They didn't really care.
Right.
So
I remember it's hard.
Mind your business.
It is hard.
Stay in your lane.
Yes. Right. And I agree. Again, I mean, we got out of the car in the middle of downtown traffic in Bucharest, cars going around us, and I go, oh my God, I guess we're doing it. And I'm so used to, even New York City, you got to jump out and do your thing. And people honk. Right. Nobody honked at me. The guy was even irritated that I was trying to help him pull the suitcases out of the trunk. And I'm like, we're in the middle of traffic coming around. He stayed calm. Your husband was calm. I was the one that was like,
I know.
All this weird energy. And I was like, at the end of the day, if everybody is moving in controlled chaos calm, it can work.
No, it was probably right after that. He said, ugh, Americans.
He did. Your husband pointed that out.
Exactly. Well, thank you for being on the podcast, Kathie. I know that you have to go, and you are also every day on Cozy 101.1.
Yeah, I love it. I love everybody from 2 to 6. I'm on Cozy 101.1, but it's great, Larry, because it's so many listeners that listen to us when they were younger, and now they have jobs. And so they listen to us on the way home. And so they're like, that's so cool. So you might have to call into my show one afternoon and say hi.
Absolutely.
Would love that.
And then make sure that you, I'm going to do like every other YouTuber, smash the like and subscribe buttons, because if you want this podcast to keep going, I want to get our numbers up. So please smash like and subscribe, or you don't have to smash it. You could hit it like with your pinky, but
do it for my listen to.
Have a great day.
Okay. All right, everybody.
The latest hip shot flavors are a hit. Get to Circle K, Casey's convenience stores, or Amazon.